Hey there, are you ready to build a fitness business that becomes a true income producing asset? Then I welcome you to the Fitness Business Freedom Show, brought to you by Fitness Revolution. I am your host, Justin Hanover, and we have over 15 years of experience building thriving fitness businesses, and we are committed to sharing our knowledge and expertise with you. You can expect to hear proven business foundations and frameworks, success stories from our coaching partners, and guest experts to give you straight answers for your biggest questions. It doesn't matter if you have an online business, fitness facility, or operate as an independent trainer. You are in the right place to grow your business and create the personal freedom you desire. Welcome to today's episode. I'm your host, Justin Hanover, success coach with Fitness Revolution. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to tell you a little bit about who I have joining me and what you can expect to hear. So today I have the pleasure of speaking with Anthony Milia. And Anthony Milia owns Milia Marketing, a successful award-winning marketing firm based in Cleveland, Ohio. Anthony helps small and medium-sized businesses get the best ROI for marketing dollars by shedding light on their sales and marketing challenges. Anthony was the recent recipient of the Crain's Cleveland 2021 in their Twenties Award with the goal of helping people. He's offering advice any business can follow to grow their customer base and their revenue by asking simple and often overlooked questions. He hopes to educate people on marketing and demystify the common misconceptions that so many businesses fall prey to, as well as offer advice and assistance to those who need it most. Anthony currently resides in Cleveland, Ohio. When he's not working, he enjoys decompressing through travel, going on adventures, hiking in the great outdoors, reading, and gaming. He's proud to have helped many companies increase their traffic, revenue, build solid customer foundations, and take their business to the next level. Marketing is often a huge topic and pain point for most small businesses and gym owners. But as I discussed with Anthony today, it is usually due to misconceptions as to what marketing is and how to actually implement marketing strategies that do work. So, if you're looking to build your marketing awareness and skill set and be able to guide your business effectively, then this is a conversation you want to be listening to. So let's go ahead and welcome Anthony onto the show. Today's episode is brought to you by Fitness Revolution. So you started your fitness business and you've been in the game now for a few years. You might have even seen some good growth over those years, but now you feel stuck. You feel like the momentum you once had just isn't there and you don't know how to get it back. Should you be focusing on your marketing, your sales, or your team? What is the next bottleneck to focus on that will allow you to break the chains holding you back? That is a great question, and one of the biggest skills as an owner is to be able to understand and identify the next biggest issue to keep your business moving. And this is exactly why Fitness Revolution has created our proprietary needs assessment to allow you to quickly see where your business stacks up and receive immediate feedback on what to focus on next. It's a quick 10-question assessment that will be able to provide valuable feedback to get past sticking points and hit your next goal. Whether you are stuck, feeling frustrated with your current progress, or just want to dial in what's working, this assessment is the first step to making that happen. I invite you to head over to the show notes where a direct link to the needs assessment will be so you can easily access it there. Now, let's jump into today's show. Anthony, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to share your marketing insights with the gym owners and help them exceed and grow in their business.
Hey, Justin. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. So let's start with giving our audience some perspective as to who you are and how you got to where you are now, like that 1,000-foot overview of how you became the Anthony that we're speaking to today.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I launched Milia Marketing right after college, and this was back in 2016. And that's the same year I graduated college, right out of Kent State University. So I'm self-taught in web development, Google Ads, SEO, and things like that. And then as the business sort of grew, in terms of growing the portfolio, we started out with very small clients. So what I like to refer as the 3 Fs: fools, friends, and family. So I started out with that portfolio, and as that portfolio grew, we started landing larger and larger clients, and now we're here today with a small team. We're based out of Cleveland, Ohio, and we help small and medium-sized enterprises with their marketing efforts.
I love that, and that's. I think one of the underlining things there is like you just jumped in and you just did it. Like you just took action right from the beginning. It wasn't like you were waiting for a certain moment or the skies to open up and give you this amazing sign to start going. Like you just took action and did it, and that's where I think a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Justin. Like, but in the first year and a half or 2 years, I was waiting for that moment. Like I was like, why aren't clients falling into my lap? Why aren't people calling my phone asking for marketing services, marketing help? Yeah. And it did take some time to get the train moving and get some clients and get that monthly recurring revenue into the door to where we actually have an agency that's running very well right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think the most important thing is, like, obviously if you didn't at least get the business actually established and be available for people, then obviously none of this would have been happening.
Yeah.
So I think like the business tactics part, like of learning how to start building momentum, I mean that comes with time, obviously. But the fact that you were just like, okay, I'm going to make this happen and just put it out there, I think is huge.
Yeah, I think just learning as much as you can. I've read a lot of books, took a lot of courses, and after every experience, you just kind of have a key takeaway you learn from it and apply it to the next experience. And failing fast and learning from it, I think, is really big.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So, like, actually, on that note, I mean, I know a big driver for you when it comes to serving your clients is addressing a lot of the misconceptions around marketing that so many like small businesses fall prey to, and I think that is definitely very prevalent in the gym industry. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So, could you hit on a few of those like misconceptions that you specifically address and how you flip that perception on it?
Yeah, sure. Great question. So I think one of the big misconceptions I think falls under not setting the correct expectations when you're going into a marketing campaign or working with a freelancer, a marketing agency, or a consultant. So what I mean by that is identifying what that scope of work or that deliverable is, or what are those goals, and having those smart, measurable goals. What are those KPIs that you want to be looking for? So as a gym owner, you might be looking for people that are stopping into your facility, that are asking about the trial, that are asking for a tour, that are submitting a form on the website, that are calling your phone number. So I would say setting the right expectations when going into a relationship like this or starting some marketing efforts on your own is a pretty big one related to marketing. And then another one is just like, everyone is not your customer. So I would say you have to niche down and really understand your audience. So is it that 25 to 34-year-old male that is a white collar business professional and that has an income of 150K to 300K? Are they married? Do they have kids? Do they like to travel? So identifying all those different things and being able to address their pain points and emotions, and instead of doing like a blanket marketing strategy and trying to capture anyone and everyone that might find you.
Yeah, no, that's huge, and I think with the expectations one, I mean that's super powerful, and like I mentioned, obviously the gym industry is filled with that. I mean, I see ads come across my page all the time with like, we'll add $60,000 to your business in 3 months or something like that, and it's crazy the promises that are put out there. And I think that obviously just fuels the expectation or the mis-expectation reality that a lot of people have. So how do you go about like kind of setting that straight with your clients with without maybe like kind of pushing them away.
Right. So I think it starts right from the beginning and setting that foundation and that groundwork of what are the main KPIs that you care about and that you're trying to grow. So it could be that most of your customers are calling in to learn more about the pricing, or it could be that they're interested in a trial. So we set that realistic goal, and I think that's a big one too, is setting realistic goals and KPIs and what you're trying to hit, and identifying what that return on investment looks like for the marketing budget that you have set aside for it. So that foundation, again, is setting the KPIs. What does that deliverable look like? So is it we're going to run one Google ad campaign or try SEO for 6 months, and we need to get 50 new gym memberships out of this marketing campaign. So and just being able to revisit it. So if it's you managing the campaign yourself, holding yourself accountable to you checking the campaign and optimizing that on a consistent basis, or if it's the marketing agency or a freelancer or another individual, setting up those consistent meetings with them, going over an agenda, going over the reports, having action items after those meetings, and just making sure that campaign moves forward as you want, and you're asking questions too. So if you don't understand anything, make sure you get that clarity.
Yeah, definitely. So when it comes to that, like, maybe could you give us like an example of maybe some common expectations that people bring to you, and how you've been able to like align them a lot better?
Yeah, I think one of the big misconceptions or challenges that we've seen with prospects approaching us is that they come forward with a smaller marketing budget and they expect it to 10, 20x, based on $1,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
And it's just not really that's very challenging to do, and you might just not, you're probably not going to see that. So I would say that the marketing budget, just like know what you're gonna get out of that.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hit on that a little bit more then, of like how do you decide what your marketing budget should be, and kind of like the different levels maybe like you can lay out of a marketing budget and where you should expect to see results?
Yeah, so one of the big questions that I ask a lot of our prospects and clients is what the customer lifetime value is of the typical customer. So if it is a gym membership, or if it's a patient of a podiatrist or a chiropractor, it could be $1,000 a year, $5,000 for the customer lifetime value, whatever it is. So if we take that average customer lifetime value and figure out the average number of leads that we can get out of this marketing campaign, that's when we could start deciding what is the starting budget that we can allocate towards something like Google ads or social media ads. And we figure out that budget for the first 1, 2, 3 months, see what's working, what's not, and then as we find out what's working, we could start to put a little bit more gasoline on the fire and get more of those leads in. So generally, what I recommend to a lot of our clients, what more for the paid media side, is for the ad spend to be a minimum of $1,000 a month, for whether it's Google ads, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah.
So you are bringing in enough data for either yourself to manage it and optimize it, or for the person that is managing it to have enough information to make better decisions with that data.
Yeah, definitely. Because like you hit it on there, it's all about getting enough data, because then obviously you can make better decisions with that. And I think, like, is it safe to say, like, say someone who's just getting into the ads game, the paid ads game, is there a period where like they should pretty much, like, the beginning part, not really expect a return and really just look at it more for the data?
I would say for sure month one. I mean, we've definitely seen a lot of our clients get the results in the under 30-day mark. Those are generally the B2C or the lower cost goods. But I'd say that month one is a lot of just pulling data where the ad campaigns are in a learning phase where Google or Facebook is learning about your campaign and they're trying to understand how to best serve it to that audience as well. And then another thing is if you are new to the ad campaign world, is just making sure that you have all your tracking set up. And that is the biggest thing. So I wouldn't even consider doing paid advertising unless you have your tracking set up. And that's talking about your call tracking, making sure that your ad campaigns are set up with form fills and form submissions on your website. So you know that this ad campaign attributed to this lead and filled out this form, and what landing page is working. So I know that there's a lot of variables in there. We use CallRail for a lot of our call tracking, so we know what keyword people are searching for. They click on our ad and they make a phone call, and we monitor those phone calls to recognize any patterns in lead quality and things like that. So I would say if you are considering paid ads or any type of paid media, the conversion tracking is at a bare minimum. You have to do that. Yeah. Because then you'll never know what's working.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is definitely crucial. Now, how about like somebody who does have maybe like a healthier budget to work with, but they're still maybe newer to the ad space, the paid ad side of things. Should they still have that same mentality of like pulling back to get data first and then adding money into it, or should they start with a higher budget right off the bat?
Well, if they have the budget, then it would pull in more data so you can see what's working or what's not working quicker than if you weren't to allocate that budget towards it. So I'd say both ends of it is try to get that as much as possible or as quick as possible, and then act on it. And as you find out what works, you're able to keep those campaigns live, add more to it, or just continue to tweak them so you can pour more ad budget on it. You can figure out what your return on investment, your return on ad spend is, and just keep the campaign moving along.
Makes sense. So actually, I want to push in a little bit more to what you brought up about like where business should be before even thinking about doing ads. So like one, getting into the digital ad space, is there anything else aside from what you brought up already that they should have kind of dialed in before considering to do this? And then second part of that is with understanding like how do they decide what metrics to pay attention to, and is it different from say a new business to a seasoned business?
Yeah, so those are good points. Definitely focusing on the website as well is probably one of the biggest parts of the ad campaigns or SEO. It's your 24/7 salesperson, right? So it's whether you're having ad campaigns run during office hours only or 24/7, making sure that you have a responsive, mobile friendly, tablet friendly website, making sure that it's showing your target audience on the website. So if it is that younger professional, display them on the website. Let your customers see them in your gym. If it's having more video on the website, so video testimonials, if it's written testimonials on your website, making sure your forms work. There's a lot of times where we're working with prospects where they come to us and they're like, I don't know how my website's performing. We haven't gotten a form submission in years. It's like, well, your forms haven't worked. They haven't been sending it to you. So that's another big thing. So don't skip out on building or designing a quality website. That's a big foundational tool to your entire marketing efforts. Regarding your other question about what KPIs seasoned or new businesses should be tracking, we recommend just any conversions in general typically are like form submissions, phone calls. It could be webinar registrations. It could be lead magnet downloads. It could be like if they're inquiring about a trial membership, purchasing a product from your website. So email newsletter signups, those are all different conversion points and what we call as goal completions as well. So those are like the end goal, right? Those are one of the end goals.
Yeah.
The end goal after that is it actually converting into a customer and how long do they stay. And then it's on the gym owner or the client to keep that customer and retain it. The other KPIs that we like to monitor as well is conversion rate, the cost per lead. So how much are we spending per lead when we capture them, the goal completion rate, the customer acquisition cost, and then customer lifetime value.
Okay. Yeah. No, that all makes sense, and it's definitely good performance. And that doesn't matter regardless if it's a new business versus seasoned business, correct?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't really matter. I'd say those are all the important metrics, whether it's a B2B or B2C business. I think those are all the core metrics that should be tracked. And of course, there's other ones that can be, but those are definitely the ones that you should keep your eye on.
Now, the flip side of that, are there any let's say vanity metrics that a lot of people get caught up into, thinking that it actually is important to track, that they shouldn't be really paying attention to?
So I think a lot of marketing agencies will pitch the we'll get your ad in front of 5 million people, or you'll get 5 million impressions per month on your ad campaigns. And business owners really fall for that because it's 5 million are going to see our ad and they're going to walk into our showroom or our business or call our phone. But that is it is an important metric. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But it's being pitched in not the correct way, I feel. So obviously you want more people to see your ad. You want the right people to see your ad.
Yeah.
It's not exactly millions of people. And then how many people are clicking on your ad, and then how many people are converting from those clicks.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So, I mean, is there a point where looking at overall impressions becomes valuable to pay attention to?
It depends on what your objective is. So there might be some campaigns where you do a Google display, which is remarketing and retargeting your users from your website, where your user might see a banner ad that kind of follows them around. And that's where impressions can really skyrocket. And that is just increasing your websites and your advertising's touch points.
Okay.
So it increases brand awareness. And that might be helpful because if you land on my website and you don't take action, I could retarget you with an ad to hopefully get you more familiar with my brand, and then come back to my website, take action. Hopefully you visit another page on our website, or you might see a video or another ad on another social media platform, then come back to our site, take action. That's when impressions can get really high, which at sometimes it's okay because maybe your customer lifetime value is higher, or a customer is worth a lot more in some cases, and it takes many impressions or touch points to get in front of that customer, or even get that customer to convert. Okay,
that makes sense. So it's when you're doing more, I guess you'd say more of a billboard approach of just trying to build awareness of your existence, your brand, your product, your service, whatever it is, and then have the opportunity to retarget them from there.
Yeah, exactly. It's an online billboard for retargeting.
Okay.
And impressions. Yeah.
Perfect. So I want to move on to, in your perspective, since obviously you've been working with a lot of different industries and business owners, and I'm sure you have heard a lot of different stories and frustrations and stuff like that. But in your perspective, why do you feel a lot of small business owners are frustrated when it comes to either digital marketing or just their marketing in general?
Yeah, I think I could speak heavily on why prospects come to us from other marketing agencies, and it can relate to the marketing efforts if you're managing it, yourself. Is that it's usually inconsistent reporting. It's poor communication between the marketing departments or marketing person, and then poor processes and systems. for whether it's creating and implementing strategies or campaigns. So I think what can be implemented is just making sure that you identify like a set recurring time on your calendar to where if you are managing it yourself, that you are checking the campaign, you have time set aside for that, or you have time set aside with the person that is managing your campaign to understand those reports, go over the KPIs that you originally agreed on, what that person or what you are doing for that campaign, and ask questions. So if you don't understand a certain KPI, or if you don't understand what campaign is doing, what for your business, then keep asking until you know. Because that's also another frustration that business owners have, is that they don't know how their marketing is doing for them. They don't know how their website's performing for them. But sometimes they don't know what questions to ask either. That's so true. It's kind of tricky. Is you also you need to try to educate yourself if you are running the campaigns yourself as much as you can about the topic. If it's the person that you hired that's running the campaigns for you, have them educate you. Ask them to educate you more on the questions to ask, or like the strategies that they're implementing.
Yeah, no, I think that definitely makes sense. It's like communication. I think a lot of it boils down to obviously having the right communication, and like you said, not being afraid to ask, even as simple as a question it is. I mean, like that, you're the business owner at the end of the day. You need to have a pulse on what's happening, regardless if it is your expertise or not. It's still your business. You're the one that's responsible for everything. And so, like, I think, like you said, that too many people like just give up full response, almost like kind of rather just put their head in the sand and be like, and then pull it up when when it's not going right, and then freak out or something, and then they make another impulse decision. But I think ultimately what I'm hearing you're saying is about keeping emotion out of it, and really double down on focusing on facts and data. And I think that will prevent a lot of issues and frustrations.
I 100% agree on that. I think on top of that, it's lack of knowledge too. So some of our clients or prospects will see a competitor or see someone else doing some type of marketing campaign. They're like, we got to do that too, but they don't know how that campaign's performing for that competitor or for that person. And they want to try it out, and then it might flop, or perhaps it might do really well, right? Yeah. So I think not letting your emotion get into your marketing campaigns in terms of like what will work best for your business. Just focus on the data. Focus on how to remove any bottlenecks in terms of your marketing funnel, and just keep at it. I think also just allocating that time to optimizing or setting up your ad campaigns as well is a lot of smaller business owners will try to do it themselves. They get frustrated that it's not working, but they also don't have enough time to dedicate towards it. So that's a big one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm just out of curiosity, with the people that you've been working with, do you find typically that your better client is a business owner that has a certain level of marketing knowledge or not?
I'd say a better client for us is, or our ideal client is someone that does have marketing knowledge. It's generally someone that it might be the director of marketing. They might have graduated with a degree with marketing, or they might have done a few marketing campaigns themselves within their own business. Yeah. That's generally our point of contact. Or we work with departments of marketing in some of our businesses. But with our smaller businesses, and it's generally people that are like under $1 million in revenue, that they never had someone handling their marketing. They might not have much knowledge in the marketing space or online space, so they either want someone to manage it for them or educate them so they can do it themselves.
That makes sense. And so do you have any tips or resources for maybe some like the small business owners out there listening that could maybe boost up their marketing knowledge a little bit more?
Yeah, so if you're looking for a little bit more education on like SEO, I highly recommend SEMrush. It's one of the softwares that we use for improving and increasing organic traffic to our client websites, and it just allows you to get the site health on how your website is performing. You're able to make optimizations from there organically. From a ad campaign side of things, I would look at CallRail if you aren't tracking your phone calls already, or even your form submissions. It can do that too. So that is a great tool, and I can't recommend that enough on how not only do we use it for our clients, but just the education material that they put out there, things related to conversion tracking and call tracking and form submission tracking.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's a great tips, and we'll have those options linked in the show notes as well for you guys, so you can easily check those out. And as we work towards wrapping up the conversation, again, Anthony, I really thank you for taking the time to really share your marketing insights. I think this has definitely been a valuable conversation, and one that I think will pique some people to have that light bulb go off and I should be thinking about something differently with this. But as I mentioned to you, I like to wrap up the conversation with kind of asking your perspective on it. Say if a gym owner came to you looking for some type of support or guidance, mentorship, based on your background and experience, from the marketing perspective, what do you feel is the most important thing for them to hear?
So I heard this quote a few years ago, and I still live by it when I make decisions, whether it's hiring a vendor or adding a new team member to our team. And it's, if you think hiring an expert is expensive, wait until you hire an amateur. And that kind of goes in line with the cheapest option is not always the best option. And I think that's for anything really. Yeah. When is the cheapest option the best option? So pay a little bit more money for that expert level help, whether it's for your marketing or if it's an accountant or a lawyer or a consultant, whatever it is. I think paying a little bit more money for that expert, they won't make as many mistakes as that amateur. And you'll get, the results and that return on investment for their time quicker. And that's my, opinion on it. And I have implemented that quote ever since I heard it. So
awesome. That's great. I think that's a powerful way to leave this conversation. And again, I thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much for your time and your dedication to your clients and also your craft, because obviously it's having an impact, and it was valuable to have you here today to share those insights.
Hey, Justin, thanks so much for having me.
And for those that want to continue this conversation with you and maybe have some further questions on marketing or maybe possibly interested in your services, where's the best place for them to connect with you?
You can visit our website at miliamarketing.com. That's MILIA marketing.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn by searching my name or going to Instagram. And my Instagram handle is Anthony Milia. So looking forward to connecting with you. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. It was a pleasure to be on this podcast episode.
Absolutely. And I do encourage you guys to do that. I mean, if you have any inclination to want to do it, because that's when opportunities open up, and you don't know what can come from it when you just put yourself out there and ask that question or connect with that person. So please do that and take advantage of this opportunity. And last thing, I just want to thank you, the listener, because without you, we wouldn't have a show. And I'm happy that you're looking for ways and resources to grow and improve your business. It's so important. But now that you've taken in this information, make sure you actually apply it and create an action step list that you're going to do and implement from this conversation. Otherwise, it does not have the value that it should have. And with that being said, I look forward to having you join us on the next episode of the Fitness Business Freedom Show. Thank you so much, and take care. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode on the Fitness Business Freedom Show. On behalf of Fitness Revolution and myself, we are thrilled you are looking for ways and resources to move your business forward, and we are honored to be that source for you. If you would like to receive more business building support from us, be sure to head over to the show notes and join our subscriber list and stay on top of all the industry insights that matter most to you. Now, before I close out today's show, if you found this episode beneficial in any way, I just ask you to leave us a simple review to help other gym owners find us and discover this show. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next episode of the Fitness Business Freedom Show.